So the promo thing is about keeping it short, concise, put all the best bits up front. So want to win a holiday for two, rather than just saying a competition and sticking it at the end. Because everyone in their promos, trailers are going to say, you know, you're going to play the very best music. Well, of course you are. I'm going to bring you all the latest traffic news and stuff.
Yeah, they know that, so...
Pile that in.
Yeah.
Hi, Rod Lucas. Still at the radio school. Different haircut, of course, and a different man sat here. This is Tom McLeod, and he is from Edinburgh.
Yeah, legitimate.
And a legitimate Scot, and he's a great little broadcaster. Done a little bit of radio.
Yeah, hospital radio and a bit of student radio, but nothing quite like this.
No. And when you were doing that radio, you weren't operating your own equipment.
No, I was in sort of assisting to someone else, but so I wasn't the main presenter. I wasn't taking charge or anything. So
you were sort of like, in the nicest possible way, like a sidekick kind of thing going on there.
That.
Which is an interesting type of radio, but you had no control over what was going on. You were almost like a guest.
Well, so you'd be right essentially, because I wasn't working any controls to this level anyway.
So we've basically started from scratch really with Tom. How to operate gear, how to bring in news, operate phone-ins, how to do interviews, how to create, which has been an interesting thing.
It's all
So you've spent 3 days with me. We've taken you from where you were as a foundation, and I think you are ready for community radio / local radio, even after 3 days. People say to me, they say, oh, how can you do it after 3 days? I say, well, you either got it in you or you haven't got it in you. All I can do is just draw out what you've got there for your unique personality and the rest of it. So we've made you competent on a mixing desk. Yeah. We've done a hell of a lot with you, not least of all news reading as well.
Yeah, I didn't, and before I came I didn't quite understand how many facets, you know, had to be brought to the table. And from where I was 3 days ago, I think it's I'm quite amazed.
Yeah, we've packed a lot in.
You know, just how far I've come in such a short space of time and how helpful it's been. So
this young man, he's 21 years old. He's got a great future in front of him. He has got so much potential. I'm just saying that. I mean it. I mean, you know, I tell it like it is. And the thing is that you do have the ability to move this on. You've done some university. You did a degree in music?
Yeah, music degree. So, but that was more studying, actually, like, you know, music.
Yeah. Qualifications aren't necessarily going to make you a great radio presenter or great radio producer. In some areas they do help to show what academia you've got. But it is that feel for radio presentation particularly that is important, and you've displayed that.
Well, I'm glad you think so, because, and as I was saying to you earlier, it's all very well, you know, friends and family telling you can do something, to come to you and to have you say honestly either yes or no is a great help.
Well, it's important that your family hear what you can do, but it's also, we're making demos that that radio stations understand, and they can go, ah, yes, he's good at being creative, his use of sound, his ability to work a mixing desk, his use of his ideas, not just walking in with the daily sport and reading stuff out of that, and as I always say on this kind of showreel thing that I'm doing here, displaying the radio school and what it offers, you've got to have more for you than just talking about popular things. You've got to be able to do lots of other things, you know, understand music and understand what the public wants at any one time. What's been the hardest thing for you?
I think the hardest thing for me was jamming it all in. You know, if you've got an hour-and-a-half show or a 2-hour show, you can very easily think that, oh, I've got a few things to talk about here, I can get through that. But you've got to think about news, travel, weather, ad breaks. Ad breaks are something that I'd never, you know, even thought about programming into a show. But once you accept that you've got to put all that in, I think it gets a lot easier. But that initial first day, when you said, okay, just program that advert in there, and it meant that I didn't think I was as good on air as a voice as I was perhaps today on the first day, because I was thinking, oh, there's so much to do. So the hardest part for me was taking in all that needs to go into a show.
Yeah,
and the preparation.
And the prep, keeping the links short and sweet, analysing the news, seeing what's important. In the last couple of days it's been announced that Catherine Kate's going to get married to William.
Yeah.
So that was kind of day 3 of this news story. We didn't want to extend it, although it's going to be very big in future, obviously. So we were looking for other news things. England had a friendly with France last night, so we included that. You were asking for listener participation. So we want to get the listeners included in what we do, but really what I try and get people to do is be original in what they're doing and get you to think outside that box, so how you can turn something small into something which will be relevant to your audience, plus keeping it local. We based the station around a station in Scotland called TKO FM, and you can listen to this young man's demo right next to this video now. So we were based in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
You were able to talk about things in Edinburgh, which made it good. But because if you do your freelance radio career, which I hope you continue with, you'll be at other areas of the country, in another country, which you know, like England, that you don't know anything about, which you'll have to research, and that's an important thing. But all of the same strands still apply. Being creative, you know, wanting to be able to share your music and your thoughts and convey what the station message is at any one time. And we covered an awful a lot of ground. So you'll have to take what you've learned here, move it all on. I think more practice, but certainly ready for a community station. So if you're watching this, this gentleman here is ready to do some radio, and you know, you're pretty flexible, aren't you?
Yeah.
Not only with your rates, but what you can do. I mean, that's the way to couch these kind of things, and you know, it's really important because you need that practical experience. Has it been an eye-opener?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I originally wanted to get into radio because, you know, I studied music, and then the last couple of years I've really got into, this is what I want to do. But I came here thinking in the last couple of weeks with the main goal of, I really want to play music to people, which is a huge part of it. But it's so much more, and I found out you've got to bring your personality to the table. It's not just playing records, and although the playing music to people, playing good music to people is a huge part of it for me because I love music in general, getting my personality into it I find really interesting. I find you can't, as you said on the first day, I think you find out who you are.
Yeah, you discover quite a few things about yourself. Especially if you're past 15, you know, things you could do when you were sort of 13 you can't do when you're 15, and it just gets worse from that point on. Not only the learning bit as well. But I want to ask you, how did you feel about music being programmed for you and not being able to choose all your own tunes?
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was a degree of that in radio, but
there's a lot of it.
And that it's opened my eyes to how much of that you will need to deal with, perhaps music that you don't enjoy. But the way, especially today, the way I really enjoyed doing my show today was, yes, you've got, you know, top 40 hits, and there's going to be a lot of that wherever you work, I suppose. This is what's popular now. But just sort of chucking in, if it's allowed, I suppose, the odd, like, 2 or 3.
Sometimes they let you play your own thing, and a lot of the time they don't. I'm getting laughs all around here. But the thing is, you know, you don't often have much choice. So remember that, folks. When you get into radio, you will be playing lots of stuff that you may not particularly like. And if you do like them, you're guaranteed by the end of the week you'll hate them.
Exactly.
Because you'll be playing. It's a bit like working in a chocolate factory.
Yeah.
That is the thing, but still this feel of wanting to share music and thoughts and have fun, and that's what it's about, to, you know, entertain and stuff. So you came to me for 3 days. I think you're ready. You're ready for it, and we've covered a whole lot of ground. Not least of all, you know, voicing a couple of commercials, live reads as well. Would you recommend this course to someone who in a similar position to you who wants to actively get into radio presentation?
Absolutely. I think, especially if you were in my situation, which is I really wanted to make it a career, but you don't necessarily know how to get into it or how to start, how to begin. And I'd say even if you had absolutely no training technologically, or if you're quite competent, there's absolutely no harm coming here, because you teach people how to put a program together. It's all fine being able to operate the desk or not being able to operate the desk. You've still got to learn how to program, how to make an interesting program. That's something that you can't wing.
No.
You have to have someone guiding you who's been there and done it before to say, this is what happens.
Yeah,
when
put
you're
your
doing a
head in that
program.
sort of place for you to be able to work on that as well for the future. Original content. You have put a lot of original content into it, some interesting competitions and stuff.
And I'd say the amount of time practicing you get here I'd be very surprised if there's any other course, especially courses with other people on them. If you're just one tutor and 10 people, you will get so much time to practice here. That
You can't do it, folks. Absolutely, he's absolutely right. If you're in a group of 15 other people for a weekend course or something, you cannot have the one-to-one making of mistakes and the analysing of your performance with 15 people, because they're all at different stages. That's why I only do one-to-one courses. And it's not a sausage factory, and you can't deal with that on any other basis. I'm pleased you came to see me. I'm pleased in a parallel universe you're here, and another one of you somewhere in a parallel universe is sort of still wanting to do it, or somewhere else. But I think it's been great, and I've enjoyed it.
And it's huge fun as well. I mean, I have said that.
Yeah, and the food's always good, as I always say. There's
very good lunches.
Yeah,
and very
take
good
a bow,
food.
Ange. Come on, take a bow on the camera. No, anyone think it's just telly as well. But listen, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Robert.
Good luck,
Cheers.
and we will meet again, and let's see what occurs. Thank you very much. Good boys.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Good.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Came across very well.
Yeah, it was good.
Well done.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good. We managed to get the hole that we both in.
Yes. Well, it's a bit of a tight fit here.
No squeeze, but
Yeah, even the trailer is important. I mean, that is the important thing. So, you know, the trailer, you know, 15 seconds in, out, and then they can play that. If it's dry with no backing at all, they can just drop that in anywhere they want to drop it in, over a track or the big intro of a song, or something like that, and just stack all the good bits at the front. How do you want to win a holiday for two to Bermuda or New York or whatever? That's what they're in.
On stations that, you know, they sort of sum up, you know, what's coming up in the next hour. They've got the bedding music underneath, like a piece of classical music or just a piece of instrumental music. Is that at a set length, or is that just sort of on a loop and they bring it out?
Well, it depends. Yeah, you know, it could be just a 30-second, 29-second buffer up to the news, and to include the news jingle as well. Dun dun dun. This is thingy 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 on FM 98.3. Which is probably the best way of having it, like you get a 30-seconder, so you know you've got to cram everything into 30 seconds. Trouble is, if you have an endless piece of music, what people do is, what the presenters tend to do, no matter how experienced they are, they'll bring it up and take it down. So give them 3 minutes, they talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, give them 30 seconds, they'll only talk for 40 seconds. Give them 15 seconds, which is about right, and they'll talk for 25.
Yeah.
But if they only know they've got 30 seconds, so they've got to pack it all into that 30 seconds, like in talking over the intro of a song.